Hey, what's up? This is Brandon Simmons from BrandonSimmons.biz. This is my weekly video blog called Bullheaded, a review of the Houston, Texas news, as well as a preview of the upcoming game matchups. Now, I was all set to talk about Duane Brown coming back from his holdout this week until Bob McNair came in with these funky ass inmate comments. Look, in case you've been under a rock, Bob McNair has been at these meetings in New York between the owners and the players to try to discuss how to bring an end to these protests during the national anthem. So, an ESPN article was released that caught him saying, we can't let the inmates run the prison. Now, for you to say that in a meeting that is focused on protests because of racial injustice is obviously completely inappropriate. And so, he did his apology and it's all this other PR mess. So we'll get into that a little bit later. But when he uttered those comments, there were a couple things that came to my mind. And one of them was like, yo, it finally hit our backyard. It finally hit home for us. So, and when I say that, I mean, like, I think back to when Colin Kaepernick first did the protest. And he came out and he explained he was doing it, for racial injustice. And so I remember how big it was and how everybody was discussing it. It's like, oh, our other teams don't do it, other players don't do it. What's going to happen if it's on my team and blah, 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 all this other stuff. So as time moved on, other teammates of his did it at the time on the 49ers. Other players from around the league began to do it. Some of them raised their fists in the air. Last year, Duane Brown, he was hurt at the time, but when we went on the road to play the Patriots, he raised his fist in the air on the sideline. So, you had guys that were doing that. Coming fast forward to this year, you had a couple of players still sitting out during the anthem. You had some that were raising their fists. Everything but it was still pretty much like under the radar. So then a couple of weeks ago, probably week 3. I believe week 3 or whatever, the weekend of week 3, Trump comes out, he makes these SOB comments, and so now the whole league is roped up into this. But it wasn't so much the whole league, it was the fact that a lot of the owners were getting exposed for donating to Trump. And hell, one of the owners, our very own Bob McNair. Now listen, I'm not naive to think that oh, he's not going to donate to some guy that's like Trump, because I mean, listen, the way I see it, he's older. Look, he's rich, he's old, he's white. That's just basically how I see it, and I'm not surprised that he did. So, look, I know a couple of people that like Trump or whatever, or tolerate him, if you will, and so I don't hate them. It basically it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I also understand this, just go off on a little bit tangent. I also understand this with Trump. It's not, being a Trump supporter is not the same as if somebody was like a Mitt Romney supporter back in like '08, in my opinion. I think it's excuse me, not '08, but 2012, or McCain in '08. I think it's a completely different ballgame. Really, I really do. So back then, if you were like, if you voted Republican or whatever, then it was like, oh, okay, you voted Republican, whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's you. It's cool. We'll still go get a beer. Nowadays, it's like you vote. It's not just voting for Republican. It's you vote for Trump, and it's like, fuck you. I mean, and that's just the way it is. And that's a whole other discussion that you can schedule with me if you want to. But anyway, back on topic. So finding out that our owner did that, I really wasn't like that shocked about it at all. But it did make me look at him. I mean, it kind of made me look at him a certain way, just knowing that it was Trump, and that's and Trump is who he is. But the point I'm trying to make is, after that, everybody's all acting shocked and I can't believe this and blah blah blah. But like I said, it's Trump, and that's who he is and what he has demonstrated. So that's a whole other conversation as well. But it's just knowing that somebody that you root for, that you think is on your side is going that route. It's a little bit unnerving. Not gonna lie to you. So yeah, that was probably the start of when it finally hit home. Now, fast forward to these comments. Um, honestly, that's kind of hitting home for us as well. Because Friday, it was reported that players such as DeAndre Hopkins had like walked out of practice. And so it's like on Friday, before one of the biggest games of the season, you just walk out of practice, healthy and all. That's kind of crazy. And you know what? I can't knock them for that, man. And it's like in any other game, if it was any other situation, like if this was like, oh, he just walked out of practice because he didn't get enough money on his contract, or they still in contract negotiations, or he lost his starting job, then yeah, I probably have a lot to say about that. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that's one of those things that just goes along with the sport. That's football. That's sports in general. But this is a whole different thing right here. This is something that's not necessarily just tied to football. This is tied to life. As much as we want to say, we watch football, we watch this, that sport to escape from politics. I mean, politics is life. If you think about it, the people we put in office, they make decisions that affect our lives, that affect the money that we make to go see these games, the money that we make to go out to these bars to watch these games, the money that we make to, be able to afford the cable to watch these games or whatever. So yeah, that's going to hit home not just for the team, but that's going to hit home for some of these players as well. So that's trouble in our backyard, that trouble in everybody's backyard, that we kind of have to just go check and just try to round that up and take care of that, just to move on with our lives. And so one more final thing that I have for that is that he has to get this. McNair has to come through and just get this together, and he has gotten it together. He did his apology. He did the whole PR move, and he's saying, don't let me become a distraction. Okay, my suggestion for that, if he doesn't want to become a distraction, is probably don't attend these meetings, or pretty much send a representative in your place. Uh, for these meetings. I mean, I'm pretty sure you could send, Rick Smith, or you could send an assistant GM in your place, just to go like kind of just take notes on like what's going on, like at these meetings. What are they discussing? What resolutions are being made? Because me personally, like outside of the Texans, I feel these meetings are very important. They're very, you don't want to, you want these protests to be done. This is what we want to do. We want to come to an agreement with you. You want to come to an agreement with us. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? Let's work together. Let's do something. All that unity shit that you was talking when Trump came after your money makers, put that on the line. Put your money where your mouth is. Let's come to a resolution. Both sides. Let's do something about this. And let's get past this. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, that's my thoughts that I had on McNair's whole thing. I'm probably going to write a little bit more in my other blog, Black Quarterback, on brothersandsports.com. Shameless plug. But anyway, so yeah, I think that's all going to be under control with the Texans home front. Hopefully, hopefully this is something that'll work towards a best solution for both sides. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and jump into this game plan I got for the Texans. Not an actual game plan, as if you've been watching this vlog series for a while, but I just have a few keys for the Texans, and I really think if they follow through with this, they should be able to beat the Seahawks on Sunday. So they're going on the road playing the Seahawks, and listen, man, the Seahawks, they're still one of those top teams, perennial contending teams, year in, year out, playoffs, conference championships, all that stuff, division champs, all that, pretty good, solid team. However, there's some components to this squad that, kind of iffy. So, first thing, the Seahawks offense is usually up and down. Some weeks they're busting out 25, 30 plus points. I think a couple of weeks ago on the Indianapolis Colts, they put out 46 points. I think it was it was the Indianapolis Colts. I watched that game. Never mind. I think it was another team. They put out like 27 points. Stuff like that. Then there's other weeks where it's much lower. Like the first 2 weeks they came out, they put up like 9 points in the first game. They put up 9 points against the Green Bay Packers defense. Green Bay Packers defense. That doesn't exist. So the fact that they put up 9 points against those guys, it's pretty bad. So, but it's things like that that's just like, it's up and down, it's inconsistent. So really, it all depends on that offensive line. Right now, the offensive line is like they're producing 650 yards rushing, 3.9 yards per rush, 14 sacks on the year. Sorry, I'm a stat guy. That's how it guides me. But it's also inconsistent as well. So on some days, it'll perform well enough where Russell Wilson can stay in the pocket and make some throws, or he can just scramble outside the pocket a little bit just to extend plays and make some throws, or just scramble for like 5 or 6 yards. On other days, it'll be the whole pocket is collapsed and Russell Wilson is just crushed like ice. Didn't have a joke for that. So, but yeah, definitely, it's all about the offensive line. And so that's the first key. If the Texans can get pressure on this offensive line and just continue to attack them, just overpower them with blockers, and they'll just be able to close that pocket up really, really quickly and just keep Russell in that pocket and crush him, then they'll be able to have a chance at winning this game. If they just don't win it, look, they'll have a chance. They'll probably win this game if they're able to do that and keep doing that consistently. Next thing, Seattle's defense is still strong. It's 8th ranked in the league right now, 8th against the pass. Legion of Boom is still the Legion of Boom. But on some of the numbers, as far as the pass go and going after quarterback, like sacks and interceptions, they're relatively low, I believe, for like how they're ranked. I think it's not so much them getting turnovers. That's a big part of what they do. It's just, being able to scheme and just figure out ways to, limit the yardage on an offense. So, with that being said, I think the best bet for the Texans on offense is to run the ball. If they can run the ball on this defense and just wear that defense down, because it's not that great against the run, kind of middle of the roadish, but if they can wear this defense down with the run, they'll definitely have a chance at winning this game. One of the things that'll also help with that or help them win this game actually, is silent snap counts. Now, everybody knows that CenturyLink Field is one of the loudest stadiums in the league. That's without a given. So definitely, if they can practice, I hope they have practice. I pray that they practice silent snap counts. But if they have, then they need to implement that, especially in the shotgun. Because obviously, if you can't hear the guy, if the center can't hear the quarterback up on the center, he's definitely not going to hear him in the shotgun. But definitely putting Watson in the shotgun so he can read the defense, and just kind of operate from there for most of the game. And so, pretty much, if they follow those steps, they'll be able to come off with a win on the road, a huge win. It'll definitely be a huge win for Watson's rookie campaign. So we'll see how that goes. But other than that, that's all I got for today. I'm Brandon Simmons for BrandonSimmons.biz. CP3, get your ass back on that court. And go Stros. Holla black.